Good morning, teacher. Well, my name is Jimmy Vallejo. I'm from Manta, and I am your student in academic writing classroom. Well, today's topic is about sentences problem. Well, there are several cases of ways in that sentences are uh, right in a bad way, sentences with mistakes, and we have almost five are the cases that we are going to talk in this occasion. Well, one of these cases sentences fragments. Sentences fragments are incomplete sentences or part of sentences. Well, as we know, uh, all the sentences have uh, some structure. So when there are a part of this structure who is missing, that is the case of sentence fragment. Well, another thing that we have to take in account is pay particular attention to sentences beginning so with subordinates like although, since, because, if, therefore, before, and so on. Now, for example, here I have two examples on this case. Well, the fragment, this is the sentences who is fragment. For example, because I promised, I pick it up X. So we have because like here and here we have because. So you have to pay particular attention to the sentences. For example, because is a kind of I don't know, is a subordinators. Well, when we talk about because, it's because we have a reason, and because is we are given a reason, but we don't say about that, about what we are given a reason. So the main clause is I need to go to the farm because I pick it up X. So this is the correct form of them to write that sentences. So another example is although I was tired. So he say that he was tired, but he say although, but he didn't say why. Or what about this? He say and the main clause could be I couldn't fall asleep. So the correct sentences should be I couldn't fall asleep although I was tired. This is a complete sentences. Instead of this, it was a sentences fragment. This is a good example too about this. Well, another case is the short sentences. Well, the short sentences are sentences that are too short and can be effective in certain situations, but not in all cases. However, overuse of these short sentences is considered poor style in academic writing. We couldn't be, we couldn't talk with too much choppy sentences or short sentences in academic writing because it's gonna be a little bit rude for the writing. For example, he's saying she took dance classes. She had a natural grace and sense of rhythm. And also he say she eventually gave up ideas of becoming dancer. Well, here we can see this is a short sentences. This is another short sentences. And we have here another one. So we have three short sentences in a paragraph. So that shouldn't be used. For that reason, or to correct them, we can use this but, for example, and so, which are connectors. So it's gonna be a little bit better because we can say we don't use the period, we use a comma and connector, and the paragraph will sound better. For example, she took dance class, but she had not natural grace or sense of rhythm. So she eventually gave up the idea to becoming a dancer. So it's a good example too because this is a short sentences. We have in a paragraph one, two, and three short sentences. Instead of this, we have used a sentences in a paragraph. So we use connectors and we give a coherencia to the paragraph. Well, another example is run-off sentences. A run-off sentences is used sentences which two or more indefinite clauses are written one after one with no punctuation. It's very similar to the another case, but with a difference. For example, this is a clause. I love to write papers. It's a clause. It's an independent clause. And this is another one independent clause. So we have two clauses in two independent clauses in this, but we don't have coherencia because we say I love to write papers, but here we need a punctuation to give it coherencia to the sentences. For example, I love to write papers. Another is I will write one every day if I had the time. So it is the best way or the correct way to uh, to give an example of these run-on sentences. The another one is comma. The another case is comma splices. It is uh, very similar on these run sentences because these both are about punctuation or commas. For example, this error happens when two independent clauses are incorrectly joined by a comma without coordinating conjugation. The mistake is, for example, we went to a store, comma, we bought milk. So here we can say a clause, an independent clause, and here we can say an independent clause. But what about if we give, instead of this comma, we give a connector? So we can say, we went to the store and we bought milk. So it's it's very different meaning about this of this because you say we went to the store and the other one we bought milk, but she can say we went to the store and we bought milk. So this is an example of comma splices, and this is the correct way to write the sentences instead of this. We have also the last kind of sentences problems is straight sentences. A straight sentences is that is usually difficult to read and understand because it has too many clauses, often due to an overuse of coordinating and or sub, um, and or subordinating conjugation. For example, this is a bad way to say my best friend is Beauty and he lives next door, and so we do many things together. So it's the first side it's a correct sentence, it's okay, but we can understand what you want to say, what the person who is talking want to say. My best friend is my best friend name is Buta, and he live next door, and so we do many things together. That is very usually when we are talking. We almost every time or every single time we talk, we want to say one thing and another. We use and is the most common connector, and in speaking is okay, but no in the writing, because we have to be very careful, because we don't have to overuse this connector. And what we have to say is, for example, uh, to separate clauses and not connect them with a connector. For example, my best friend is my best friend name is Buta, and he lives next door. So we have to separate. This is the main clause in the sentences. This is uh, and this is another one independent clause. So we have to separate it with a period. Another example is, I tried to teach my friend things and he keeps forgetting, and I feel bad because he always helping me. So, uh, like in the previous sentences, we have to say that we are overusing and so it's very common. The most common mistake in this kind of sentences is overuse and another one small ordinating conjugation, like I say previously. And the correct the mistake this mistake we can correct in this way. I tried to teach my friend things, comma, and he keeps forgetting, and that we can separate with another one indefinite clause or another, because this is the main clause, this is an indefinite clause. So I feel bad because he always is helping. Well, teacher, this has been my presentation. I hope you like it. Regards, teacher, best wishes. And this was my presentation. Um, Thank you.